Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to For StarCraft 2 Strategy, your #1 location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. Today we're going to be taking another look at that 2v2 strategy, the Terran Protoss early game pressure, with Marines and Marauders on the Terran player's part, and getting that 3 gateway for the Protoss player. Now in this particular replay though, we are going to be seeing some early game cheese from our opponents. We do see a fast Zealot and a Reaper basically just running straight into our base, trying to do some economic damage to us, and you're just going to see how we fend that off and then how we go ahead and fall through with a counterattack here. So in this replay, the Terran player is myself, Force, and my Protoss player is Tempest, my bud. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get into things here, starting off with that pretty basic build order with the 10 supply depot followed by the 12 barracks. And just something to note here, typically, I mean, we do it more often when we're facing Zerg opponents, but a lot of times we do like to create some sort of a frontal wall off in these 2v2 maps. This one, however, is such a large map, and there's such a huge distance between your base and that front ramp of yours for both players. We decide to kind of just play defensively on a one base play as far as how we make our buildings. And then just support each other if necessary, if we get any attacks or anything, rather than having just one frontal wall. And I said it in the last video, a lot of these 2v2 maps have destructible rocks. This one has 2 destructible rocks areas leading right into our bases, so it's kind of nonsensical to block off this front because you're likely to get hit from the destructible rock sides, and it'd be kind of a waste of your building space to build up here. So yeah, we started off again with that 10 supply depot with 12 barracks. We followed that up with a refinery. Now once that barracks is done building, we are going to be going ahead and building a marine, saturating that refinery as soon as we can, and then getting a tech lab right on the barracks here. Second barracks coming down right now as well with 15 supply. Now as you can see, I was following this probe around. I wanted to make sure there were no shenanigans going on. A lot of times on maps this large, especially Protoss players like to put proxy pylons to either warp in units or make some proxy gateways to get some zealots in your base really early on. Again, we do see some early pressure from these guys though. As you can see, the zealots pushing out. He's also following suit with the Reaper. And actually, at the beginning of the game, I said, good luck, have fun, GG. I wasn't being a huge jerk again. We had just played these guys the game prior, and they hit us really hard with cheese early in the game. And it was, I mean, we ended up pulling through. We ended up winning, but it was it was a very close call. Basically, we got to their base with our counterattack just before the Terran player was able to get siege tech up. Had he gotten siege tech up, we probably would have lost because I took a huge economic hit when they hit us last game. So this is we just kind of expected that this might happen, so we did prepare for it, but of course we did scout, and we did see that tech lab, that quick tech lab, and we didn't see an early marine or anything, so we kind of assumed that he was going to go for that Reaper, that early Reaper again. Now as you can see, he pushed into the base here. They tried to do some damage to the Protoss player, didn't end up working, so what they're going to do is they're going to switch over to me. Now when we saw him, we had a scout up here getting vision, and when we saw them pushing across the map, I went ahead and dropped a supply depot. Actually, let me get this production tab up for you guys. I went ahead and dropped a supply depot because I figured if they're going to come in our base, I can just stick a Marauder in there, which is exactly what I do there. So they end up pushing over to the side, and all you really have to do is dump your Marauder out versus an early Reaper and an early Zealot. A Marauder's, especially with that concussive shell, is going to be able to do a lot of damage. You just got to micro around, try to kite properly, try to not get hit. I screwed that up there though, but anyways, we end up surviving this. We end up fending this off, getting us around on that Zealot, stopping him from moving. Marauder inside of this bunker is going to do massive damage, and of course my buddy's here to help. So basically, yeah, I mean, we just fended off that counterattack using this Marauder. My bud moved up with the Zealot and the Stalker, and at this point we decide, you know, they vested resources into that, so a really good opportunity for us would be if we struck soon. So that's what we're going to do. His warp gate research is just about finished now. The gateway's up now, so he's going to be working off these 3 warp gates here, which is what we typically go for, that 3 warp gate, 2 to 3 barracks, Marine Marauder push. So that's what we're going to be seeing here. Definitely didn't realize at that point that they had killed that SCV, and that supply depot was just sitting there, and I was supply capped. I was still stunned and dazed from that attack. No, I was still just a little distracted thinking about the fact that we need to hit soon, and wasn't really paying attention to the fact that I was supply capped, but it's okay. Ended up fixing that, no big deal. So what we're going to do here is, now that Concussive Shell is finished researching, and we do have another Marauder and Marine coming out, going to be pushing out, making sure both those barracks are rallied to my forces here. And we're going to be pushing out, taking out these back destructible rocks, I mean, I do believe they end up seeing this. I remember seeing an Overlord observer flying around somewhere. There's the observer. Do they see that? Yeah, they do just end up seeing the tip of that attack. I'm not sure if he's paying attention, if he actually saw it, but I would, yeah, I'd have to imagine so, because they do have this probe here. So they did see this attack coming, and what we're going to see them do is they're going to end up moving forces out. There we go. So they're going to end up moving forces out to try to prevent this. But unfortunately, I mean, this just goes to show you how if you respond in time, if we honestly, if we had waited maybe 2 to 3 minutes longer before we attacked, they probably could have fended it off. They could have had enough by then. But if you hit just at the right time, if you hit when you've got a decent amount of forces and you know that they're at a disadvantage because of any sort of rush that they did, then you should be able to pull through, and that's exactly what happens here. We just have too many forces in comparison to them because they dumped resources into that early game push that we ended up fending off. And that's pretty much it. We're going to be moving in, taking out these pylons to stop all production from these buildings. Does he get this out? I hope we're good enough to not let that happen. Nope, guess not. So yeah, we're really close to stopping that Immortal from coming out. Not that it really mattered anyways. We obviously had this game here. Moving up, going to be taking out these additional pylons as well, then working on the Nexus and the probes. And I do believe they left at this point. So yeah, I don't think they were too happy. They tried their cheese tactics 2 games in a row and didn't work versus us. They were a lot closer to winning that last game. This game pretty much just countered that cheese and dominated them. But taking a look here at the build order, again, this is the same type of build that I showed in the last 2v2 scenario I did, the Terran versus Protoss 2v2, Terran and Protoss 2v2. But I just wanted to show you another variant of it and how to deal with that early game cheese like we saw there. So we started off with that 10 supply depot, followed it up with the 12 barracks. While the barracks is building, we got that refinery. Saturating that refinery, after our first Marine coming out of our barracks, we put a tech lab here, and then we add about 15 supply. We get our second barracks. Now, we fended off that cheese. We built a few more units. We moved out with about 6 units, a couple Marauders, and a few Marines. And then you also want to move out as soon as your Protoss bud finishes that warp gate research so that he can warp in reinforcements just outside. So again, guys, this has been for StarCraft 2 Strategy, your #1 location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. If you guys like our videos and you like what we're doing here, please do go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Keep watching and keep owning, guys. And then, you know, you also have the opportunity, if they kill this pylon, you still have this one back here to warp into. So, pushing forward, once this pylon comes up, we are going to go ahead and warp in some more units. Basically, we're just going to keep up our mineral production here, going to keep gathering our resources, and whenever we have the chance...